Welcome everybody to Combat Compas. Obviously, Compas on the beat. I'm Fernando Ramirez. That is Gilbert Manzano. We are here to talk all things boxing, all things UFC, and also all things WWE as combat sports. Yes, the NFL season's kicked off, but right now we're going to talk a little combat sports. Gilberto, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. It's a good week for combat sports. You know, usually it's like one big boxing event or one big UFC event or WWE's dominating the headlines like they have the last couple weeks. So it's a big time week. Canelo Berlanga, UFC Spear, and then or Sphere, and then obviously WWE doing the latest there before. What's the next one? Bad Blood, I guess, in
Bad
August.
Blood.
I'm sorry,
Bad
August.
Blood is the
October.
next one. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
In that
Bad Blood
ATL.
is the next one, and obviously we'll see what happens there. We'll get everything cooking, but for right now, I'm gonna change the banner real quick because obviously we cannot start a regular Compas on the beat without the intro.
Compas on the beat. Let's get it. Let's go.
So we're Compas.
Yeah, we are.
Oops, I guess I messed that up. I apologize.
Well, Ryan Garcia leading the intro, so that's good.
Yeah, there you go. Combat. There's the combat. All right, Gilberto. Let's get it kicked off. Canelo Alvarez versus Edgar Berlanga. Obviously, Puerto Rico versus Mexico. I think right now Puerto Rico's up 76-70, I believe.
Where'd you see that?
I saw a stat on Twitter right now that.
So they just tallied all the Mexicans and Puerto Ricans.
Yeah. I think I saw
each other.
I think I saw something like that. That it was, that it was like 70 to something. I'm not too sure. I think I saw something like that. The what?
Puerto Rico's leading by 6.
Victories? 6 or 7 fights. Yeah. They're leading it by 6 or 7.
Canelo.
I know. But what do you? Canelo actually just arrived in Vegas about 2 hours ago, according to Las Vegas locally. Obviously, he's in town. I think Guadalajara is obviously the biggest Canelo city, obviously. Then I think it's probably San Diego, and then it's Vegas, and then it's San Diego. What do you think? Would you say that's?
Yeah, I can see the entire West Coast is very Canelo heavy.
He has a house out here in San Diego. I know that.
I'm not even sure if Canelo's he's fought in New York, but I can't remember the last time he fought in New York. Maybe when he fought Caleb Smith, I think it was. Or maybe that was overseas in England, but he's fought obviously in England and Texas, out in Mexico, in Las Vegas. I don't know if he's ever fought in LA. I think he has at Staples. Actually, when he fought Shane Mosley. So West Coast, Mexico. I'm sure even in London and UK, they are some of the most diehard boxing fans. They know the sport very well, so I'm sure Canelo's beloved out there too. So I don't know, maybe he fights in Saudi Arabia soon. Gets that money there, and he also
ain't
is
doing that.
I
don't know why. I feel like Canelo, it's like either Vegas, Texas, or maybe even LA. I feel like if Canelo fought Benavidez, he could sell out SoFi Stadium.
Yeah, but the issue is always the state tax money, and I really want to see him fight at SoFi Stadium, but like when you're losing a couple mil, and you're like, might as well stay.
Okay, then do it at Allegiant.
Florida, and at Allegiant, like in Vegas or Texas. Those are the kind of 3 non-state tax states there, or the major ones. But I've been waiting for an Allegiant boxing match. It just hasn't been like a big one in a minute. So it will have to be something where like. Trying to think, because
Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, I think could have sold out the.
I don't know. They barely sold out the Barclays.
That's in Brooklyn.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just if Canelo somehow, or the promoters, not Canelo, marinate and hype up a potential David Benavidez showdown, I could see that fight there. Definitely.
So give me the lowdown on Berlanga. I mean, the stuff that I've heard and the stuff that I've seen is that it's another typical boxer that Canelo fights. Nothing. There's nothing like impressive about him, I guess. But I don't know. And it's funny because at first he was defending on social media. He should have fought David Benavidez, and he's like, "Hey, Canelo can do what he wants. He's the GOAT. He's a this. He's a that." and now all of a sudden he started talking trash when he was out in LA for the press conference, the one in Brooklyn. So what do you think? Do you think I mean, I'm not gonna say does Berlanga have a chance, because honestly, it's only Bivol and Mayweather have beaten him. But do you feel like this is basically another Canelo cakewalk, or what do you think?
Yeah, and because we are in fight week, I'm trying to get myself hyped for this fight, but it's
Well, we're gonna be there.
Yeah, we're gonna be there. Breaking news: the Compas are gonna be there at another Canelo fight. We were there in May for Jaime Munguia versus Canelo, and
He's
that one
with us there.
Yeah, there you go. So with that one, I could get myself a little hyped because Mexico, two Mexicans going at it, and Munguia has a very good style, fan-friendly style where he has a lot of heart. He's gonna have a lot of punches thrown. Not maybe the best power, very good chin. I know that Canelo dropped them, but you could take that away. Like, it's gonna be a good brawl. Here, they're trying really hard to do the Puerto Rico versus Mexico rivalry, and it's just Berlanga is not on Munguia's level. So you saw how high Canelo was in terms of fighting Munguia, and then Berlanga's like over here, and it's like he's very slow. I thought his power was overrated because he was fighting a bunch of guys who were training at the local YMCA, and like, oh, you want to go fight Berlanga? And credit to Berlanga, he kind of created a little bit of hype for himself because he embraced the Puerto Rican roots. He's from New York. He's wearing the flashy jewelry. He's hanging out with the rappers in New York, Fat Joe. He became kind of a name out there in Brooklyn, but then he got put on ESPN with Top Rank, and he had boring fights. He looked very slow. He did not seem like the real deal. And then Top Rank just dropped him. That's not a good sign, Fernando. When promoters have guys who are worthy of holding on to for big paydays, and they just cut them, or like, hey, we don't really care for you. That said a lot to me. So Canelo, I think, is going to have a nice, easy day. But maybe is where the storyline could be, Fernando. If Canelo doesn't look good and he doesn't knock out Berlanga, maybe there's going to be talk about decline time for the older guy.
Do you expect that to kind of happen?
I don't, because I just don't think Berlanga is that good. But hey, we've all seen the Rocky movies, right? We all seen these boxing underdogs, and they kind of, okay, let me get him. Then boom, one punch, and they drop him. So we've seen that all the time. Buster Douglas and Mike Tyson. That is the small hope here for Berlanga. He does have power. It's just, I think his power is a little fraudulent, a little overrated. He couldn't, when the competition level increased by a little bit, the power just suddenly went away. I don't know. I think Canelo's a very good combination puncher, very good counter puncher. He's going to take him to school. And the only reason, Fernando, that I thought that Canelo didn't knock out Munguia, he could have done it. He hasn't knocked out anybody in 3 years. Was just too much respect for a fellow Mexican. Too much respect for the pride there. Maybe you didn't see it that way. I thought that
no, I don't like that.
Okay, yeah. By the 9th round, I thought he kind of cruised a bit, or maybe it's an excuse for why Canelo didn't knock him out. I think, but I do bite a little bit. Berlanga's a little bigger, a little bulkier. Maybe he could eat some shots better than Munguia, who got dropped with the uppercut, by the way. Check out that video on Compas on the Beat. But exactly. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know what to expect, and all I can really sell myself on is he has power. It is boxing. It takes one shot.
Do you? I just think Canelo might have lost a little bit of that when it comes to the power and everything. I mean, I'm sure he's still one of the best boxers in the world, if not, well, yeah, he's still one of the top boxers in the world. I don't know if he'd make your top 5 pound for pound right now, but
I think he's outside, like top 6. I think I have.
Is John Jones on your pound for pound number?
On UFC? Yeah, you know what? Maybe not, because we're not going to be at the UFC spear there. So
there you go. So obviously, the fight card, Gilbert. Is there any fight that it's Lara versus Danny Garcia, Caleb Plant, Trevor McCumbee? Caleb, obviously, it's the first time that he's back in the ring in a while. Obviously, he got into that spat with at the Tank Davis, Frank Martin with Ryan Garcia. Rolly Romero, friend of the show, jumps in with Manuel Jaimes, and Stephen Fulton versus Carlos Castro. Gilbert, what should fans be excited about when it comes to that?
It's an interesting undercard. There's a lot of well-known names, but not like a very good fight. I want Danny Garcia and Lara to be that good fight, but like they're two older guys past their prime. Maybe Danny Garcia is still in his prime. We just kind of overrated Danny Garcia. We're like, okay, we thought he's gonna be a star in boxing, but every time he fought one of the big boys, he lost. I'm trying to think of the one fight that he won. I guess he beat Amir Khan, but that was a long time ago. Maybe he's over the hill. I don't know what I'm trying to make a case here for the co-main, but Lara's very old. He fought Canelo like 10 years ago too. For now, these are two guys who were budding stars 10 years ago, and like now we're gonna put him in the co-main. Okay, sure, maybe. And Lara's not even entertaining for now. He's very boring. A skill fighter who doesn't have that much skill because he's old now. Caleb Plans probably getting a tune-up fight. Good name, but a tune-up fight. Romero definitely needs to have an impressive performance because he got knocked out by the Pitbull there. Pitbull, Cruz. There you go. But I don't know. I'm kind of done with Romero. Good interview, friend of the show, but I'm over that one. Stephen Fulton had a little bit of hype, but also I think he lost to Inoue. Yeah, he lost to the Japanese monster. So a lot of guys who need to prove something to get back on track. So they're kind of missing one very entertaining fight, which that's kind of the sucky part about this card.
What do you make of the Oscar De La Hoya versus Canelo Alvarez thing? And the reason why I ask is because let me show you what. So obviously, for people that don't know, Oscar De La Hoya has been doing these things on Thursdays where he talks crap, or he says he's keeping it real, and he talks a bunch of crap, and he goes after people. And so basically, he was talking crap about Canelo, and he's like, "Oh, this fight's gonna suck. Like, you're fighting a nobody for $90, which $89 is ridiculous." He's like, "You're $89 or $90. You should be able to knock out Berlanga right away. He's not even a good opponent." And then that was one Thursday. The next Thursday, he announces, "Oh, hey, guess what? I'm not even going to the Canelo Alvarez fight." He's like, "I will be at UFC at the Sphere. Come out and see that."
Dana White doesn't even like Oscar De La Hoya. That's
hold on,
weird.
I got something for you. Look at Dana White's response. It's glorious.
I did see Oscar De La Hoya is going to be in the building. Is that a conversation we're going to have, or is it better that you guys stay away from each other?
I don't know where he's getting his tickets from, but he definitely isn't getting it from me. I don't know if he's coming with Shake Turkey or what his deal is, but yeah, I saw it.
No.
Listen, and it's him trying to shit on Canelo, and I said it a million times. I respect Canelo. I like Canelo. Met him. He's a nice guy. That night, we're talking about the history of Mexico and the history of the people and their traditions and the impact that they've had on combat sports.
So Dana obviously does not like that he's being put in the middle of Oscar De La Hoya and Canelo Alvarez. But what are your thoughts?
But he did mention Turkey there. So the prince,
His Excellency.
What does that actually mean? Like the title that he has out there, is that,
I don't know.
Is he some
Dude,
kind of
he's in
prince?
the Boxing Hall of Fame? Like
okay, whatever. But I just feel weird calling him that. It's like, okay, like, but I also want to know, like, but Turkey. I'm glad that Dana White said it. I feel like I was mispronouncing it, but Turkey it is. They have like a common friend there because apparently Oscar and Golden Boy are gonna make like a boxing card with a bunch of Latinos on there, and Turkey wants to host it and co-manage with Oscar. So I get that. And then obviously UFC, is it still 305 or just a Spear?
306.
306 UFC Spear. Yeah. Being also kind of not co-promoted, but being sponsored by Riyadh Season. So I actually it makes a lot of sense for why Oscar would go there, but Dana White hates him. And it's always funny seeing UFC media asking at least one De La Hoya question per press conference just to get a rise out of him. It's good clickbait, good content.
Remember when we were there, somebody asked him about the handling of Ryan Garcia's suspension.
Oh yeah.
And he said I would have defended him until the end. He's like, how can you tell me? And I mean, you ask people, and a lot of people think that it's BS, the suspension of Ryan Garcia. Obviously, who knows if it's because he talked about pedophilia in Hollywood or whatever it was that, or maybe he did pop, whatever. Who cares? It doesn't matter. Well, no, it does matter. Help the kids, all that stuff. But what I mean is that he obviously, I mean, he's gonna take a shot at Oscar De La Hoya whenever he can. I'm just waiting for the video if they kind of interact or if they meet each other or if they shove each other or who knows? Maybe if the buys aren't doing too well, Dana just says, "Hey, well, I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say. Hey, why don't we jump in the octagon? I'll give you gloves, you give me, and then we'll jump in and see no takedowns, but we'll see who's better." So
and before I forget, Fernando, you mentioned the price of the pay-per-view for Canelo Berlanga, which is ridiculous, by the way. Like it keeps going up $10. I feel like every year. But one good thing, one positive sign, I saw pay-per-view.com is gonna be hosting or is showing on their streaming platform the Anthony Joshua Daniel Dubois fight for $20. I'm like, oh,
I know.
It kind of was making me. I shouldn't say this, but I'm still gonna use what I always use. But hey, $20, I'm thinking about maybe paying for it. So that is a good sign for the sport.
When DAZN used to do the if you pay for if you have a subscription to DAZN, $20 a month, you can get all the fights. I used to love that.
Yeah,
it was perfect. All of a sudden they got greedy, and that's when a lot of people left, and that's when they were sending all kinds of promotions, and then nobody cared about it. So yeah, they've messed up.
I haven't had DAZN in like 3 years, Fernando.
His Excellency said that that he wants to bring pay-per-views down to $20 and $30 to kind of combat illegal streaming, which that's what I think Dana White. I've been saying this. Everybody needs to follow the WWE model. WWE came out with their own streaming platform, and everybody said it's going to be a failure. Look at the deal that they just signed with the Cock. They signed that big deal with them, and they stream all their content. Now they're going to Netflix for an even bigger deal. So I just don't understand why more companies don't do that. I know it's less money than what you're thinking, but at the end of the day, it'll add up because people are going to be like, oh, you know what? Sean O'Malley is fighting tonight. I want to watch it. Boom. A subscription for $15.99 a month. People watch the UFC fight, and I mean, obviously, like the UFC is huge right now. People love it, but the thing is, the price. You can't. UFC has what, 3 or 4 cards a month. One of them is free. The other you kind of have to pay for. It's like, well, not people aren't they're window shopping, and that's why when Dana's like, oh, we're going to combat illegal streaming by going after those people. No, do it a smart way. Combat it by bringing a platform in that you can, like ESPN makes a bunch of money. Why don't you just do it for $15.99 and all that? So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but I think they need to be a lot smarter with their pay-per-views because people aren't watching, and that's how people get the illegal streams. And that's why you go on Twitter and you just tweet out, hey, who has the illegal or who has the stream? And you get 15 freaking messages from people that have the stream.
And you know, for this particular fight, the annoying thing is kind of like football, where like you gotta have like YouTube TV and Peacock and Netflix and whatever else these games are on. But you know, with this one, it's gonna be on Prime. But it's like there has to be something where like, okay, if you buy Prime and subscribe, you get the fight, but also like I get you want to make a little extra money. How about like a package where like, okay, you pay $10 a month and you get all the fights for the whole year, and it's like, and you look up and it's like, oh, you paid $120 for the whole year. I'm sure Prime can make a bunch of money doing that, but I'm no genius here. But I will definitely add on a boxing plan for just $10. Oh, just $10, cool. Like you think about it that way, and now it's like I want $90 right now. So I'm like.
Yeah, no, and what Gilbert's saying is
asking for the Martin fight money. Probably my Wi-Fi here.
Yeah, no, you're good now.
Am I? Okay, but go ahead, Fernando.
No, and just what I was gonna say is, oh wow, they're right now I'm watching Mexico versus Canada, and they have a little box on the bottom saying, hey, Canelo versus Berlanga. So they're promoting it. See, and in Mexico they get it for free. You just have to wait until the fight's basically over. Or no, sometimes they even pass it for free, and it's like, well, why down there do they pass it for free? Why not here? And I can tell you right now, not a lot of Mexicans are kind of over Canelo a little bit because they remember the days of Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. They remember the days of even Oscar de la Hoya. They remember Juan Manuel Marquez, even Margarito. They remember all those guys, El Terrible Morales. They remember all those guys going up and just banging with whoever it was. But the problem is, Gilbert, and I don't want to say that he ruined the sport, but Floyd Mayweather Jr. going undefeated, I feel like everybody wants to keep that undefeated streak. And they that's what they talk about. They talk about being undefeated, and it's like, no, dude, just go in and bang. everybody loses. Even the Undertaker had to lose Gilbert, and that was a sad sight. So yeah, I just nobody stays perfect forever. Well, I guess Floyd did, but there's a lot of question marks there. Let me ask you real quick. For Oscar De La Hoya, the promoter, isn't this a bad look?
Yeah, especially when I know Dana White doesn't want to make it this, and I could ask the question right here, but it kind of feels like a week where like it's gonna be UFC or MMA against boxing, and De La Hoya's over there on the UFC side, MMA. Like you want to, put my eyeballs on boxing, and yes, Dana White doesn't want to make it a rivalry out of respect, but it became that way. And UFC, let's keep it real, has been kicking ass and winning some of these, I guess, whatever ratings or whatever. It's WCW, WWE wars, right? Getting more eyeballs in the sport, younger fan base. Boxing's getting old, and
Well, now they're teammates, WWE and UFC.
Yeah, there you go. So that they're in this new age, thinking ahead, and boxing's getting left behind. And for a bit, I thought like, man, this could do real damage for Canelo with the UFC going as a spear, and Dana White hyping it up, saying it's gonna be the best thing ever. It's gonna be a once in a lifetime opportunity. We're gonna go there one and done. You better not miss this. And I'm like, oh, okay, Canelo, you chose Berlanga. You're not fighting anybody. You're annoying people with the high pay-per-view prices. You're not fighting Dan Benavidez. This intriguing thing with the UFC, Canelo, you're in trouble. And then I just kind of forgot that like Mexicans support their guys all the time. And the one thing that Dana White screwed up is not promoting it with more Mexican fighters on the card. And then I get that maybe you don't have a big superstar that's of Mexican descent or background or from Mexico, and you needed to have Sugar Sean O'Malley on the main card. But you do that with like Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler. Like that one would have been the punch there for Canelo. And then in a way too, Dana White's trying to honor Mexican fight fans. I'm like, you're taking away something that's a tradition for boxing and Mexico. Mexican Independence Weekend is for a Mexican fighter like Canelo, like Chavez Sr., and you're trying to take that away from them. That kind of feels like you're defeating the purpose. Like, I get you want to honor them, but maybe pick a different day. Like, why can't you honor Mexico like on freaking, I don't know, like November 10th or something? I don't know, but it was just poorly handled, Fernando. And I feel like that one night where I think it was the BMF inaugural fight between Nate Diaz and Masvidal, the first one. Yeah. We went to the second one, the boxing match, and Canelo was forced to be waiting in his locker room fighting Kovalev. And like, remember that meme was just laying there on the couch waiting for UFC to end because somebody told him in his ear, hey, for ratings, you should probably wait for UFC to end. And that was an embarrassing day for boxing. Like, you're waiting for UFC to end so you could come out. You're the biggest star in boxing. You're waiting for those guys.
I hope that doesn't happen on.
I hope Saturday. Not. But this is where I kind of segue. I'm like, did Dana White make a mistake? Because the main event is kind of weak. The card is kind of weak. I think you're also choosing a holiday that's boxing tradition. You're messing with. Canelo's still a big superstar. And then also you're seeing the reports. I don't know if they're legit or not, but Dana White's telling people that he's gonna have a $30 million gate. Supposedly tickets are too expensive and people are not buying them. That makes it go more to Canelo fight at T-Mobile Arena. So to me, I think tradition is gonna win this one. And I just think Dana White, which I appreciate him trying to show love for Mexican fight fans, but I think he kind of just chose the wrong card, chose the wrong day, and don't mess with tradition because these boxing people are freaking stubborn old people, and that's one thing they do well is be stubborn, and you're not gonna mess with our holiday.
They so every fighter fighting is Mexican except for the second co-main event, if you want to call it that, but everybody else, well, Diego Lopez is the only other one, but he lives in Mexico, so I guess they're treating him as a guy that.
Wait, I already forgot, Fernando. Is Sugar Sean O'Malley and Miro the main event, or is it Grasso?
Well, okay. Whatever.
Okay.
Hold on.
Well, they kept going back and forth. I couldn't even tell who the hell was the main event.
They're not calling it. Neither one. They're not calling either one the main event or anything like that. But yeah, Sean O'Malley and Marab are gonna end the night. But yeah, everybody else is Mexican. They have who's starting everything off? Raul Rosas Jr., the Chihuahua guy.
Oh yeah, yeah. That guy's an interesting character. Like, it's gonna
But
be good. It's gonna be good fights, and it's gonna be. I wish it
no,
could
I
have
bet.
gotten a ticket to seeing how the spear's gonna look. But I'm like, it just doesn't have enough buzz for me. Maybe because I'm just a big boxing guy, but I don't know about you. And maybe we'll catch up with our guy Adam Hill. I wanna ask him about the buzz out there. Which one's getting more eyeballs and who's being more talked about? But it just doesn't feel like the right card to go up against Canelo.
They're saying that there's a lot of there's only like 4 handful of seats for media, and that's it.
Oh, wait,
Like,
what?
it's not like 20 seats
Okay, inside.
inside.
Yeah, because at the
so-
T-Mobile Arena, you get like maybe like 20 on the floor, and then you get a bunch up top. So I don't even
Yeah.
think they have that as an option. up
No,
top.
they don't. They don't. That it's just all that like I like that a bunch of people got denied that were like, oh wow, that's incredible. So
Hmm.
yeah, but I mean,
And more
obviously-
media probably going to the Canelo fight, which is more
Yeah.
eyeballs and more attention.
well, hopefully not, so we can be there and
yeah.
try and get
Which I
everything.
thought that was gonna happen. Like, oh, we're gonna be at the Canelo fights. Everybody's gonna be at UFC Spear, and it's like, oh, actually, no, they're all gonna be over here because it's so limited and exclusive, and it's kind of backfiring a bit.
So you have Canelo winning, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I'll give you a pick before I move on to maybe breaking down some of these UFC fights. But yes, Canelo hasn't knocked out anybody in 3 years, but the way he looked impressive against Munguia, where I thought he let him off the hook, and I know you didn't like that. So I think he does that. He knocks him out. He completes it because, hey, credit to Berlanga, by the way. He was talking trash. He looked a little like, like a deer in the headlights when the first presser was in New York. He looked like, okay, he's never been here before. Too much respect. And then they go to LA, which I'm mad about. I think I was in Arizona for my training camp tour. Berlanga just talking crap to Canelo. And Canelo was like, okay, and he starts, talking, crap in Spanish, and I forget that Berlanga knows some Spanish, so they were going at it back and forth, doing weird hand motions. I'll leave it at that. And that was good for combat sports. So I like that he's talking crap to get more buzz here. But again, also too, like, I'm not trying to say Canelo's generating so much buzz that UFC is being forgotten. Like, I honestly thought, it's kind of quiet. But it is Tuesday though, Fernando. But I get really hyped when maybe Friday rolls around at the weigh-in.
Yeah, when they do the weigh-in, that's when some of that stuff will go up.
And real quick, 10th round knockout, to be more specific. What do you have?
He'll go the distance. Canelo doesn't knock anybody out, so so I don't think that'll happen. So all right, UFC. I'm gonna say Sean O'Malley knocks out Merab in the second round.
Wow. Okay. Merab is very impressive. He's scrappy. I'll give him some respect here, but man, I forgot the last fight that O'Malley had. Were we there, Fernando? But he was
we weren't dominant.
There. What am I? Oh yeah, we watched. I watched it from home, but I can't remember who he fought.
I'll tell you right now. Marlon Vera in Miami, UFC 299.
Okay. Yeah, that was actually a good fight. They threw hands very, very well. So O'Malley was.
Yeah, it was a round. It was a decision.
Yeah, that was a good fight. So they were going back and forth training. O'Malley, I think he gets comparisons to Conor McGregor because he's a good striker. Obviously he's not a good boxer, but I don't think UFC guys are good boxers, but he could strike with the best of them. So give me Sean O'Malley in the third round. A little respect from Merab.
It's funny. Speaking of that, real quick, I just saw Jake Paul say that he's talked to Conor McGregor about jumping in the ring and stuff, and that Conor told him that he still has a contract with the UFC and that's why he's not able to jump and do boxing with him, but that as soon as that contract's over, he'll jump in the ring with him. I think he would knock out Jake Paul. And then on the other side of that, Dana said early 2025 now for Conor McGregor's return to the UFC. So I wonder if he's going to wait until the Super Bowl and all that's over to kind of get people back into the UFC atmosphere of it, because you don't want to compete with the playoffs and
it's gonna be like a full year from when they canceled in June. Then I bet it happens in March. They tend to have a Vegas one in March. Yeah.
Well, hopefully we're allowed to go to that one, because that'll be
I thought maybe December.
I want to experience it. I'm glad it's not in the Sphere though, because I want to experience Conor McGregor fight week, and that time I would go up into the stand and I would watch him, because I want to watch him fight.
Let's hope they don't wait another 2 years and he's going to be coming out in a wheelchair and a cane or something.
I know, for real.
It's been a long time.
You're not kidding. What do you got about Grasso and Valentina?
Shevchenko is very good. She's very impressive, and I'm surprised Grasso actually got her in the second one. And it feels like a long time ago since they fought Fernando. So this match here, this third one's long overdue. But I don't know. I guess I'll go with Mexican pride here, and I'll take Alexa Grasso to beat Shevchenko the Bullet, who has like the abs there from where you do the laundry.
So you have Alexa winning?
Yeah, I go with the Mexican there. You gotta have.
We need to get her on the show. I think it'd be fun to get her on the show. I think it'd be interesting.
Yeah,
I've tried to get Brandon Moreno on, but that guy is difficult to get a hold of.
We got to play the race card and say we're Mexican. Bring them on.
I know. Yeah, that would have been smart by them. Hey, let's get them on a bunch of shows. Talk about them being Mexican, all that stuff, and what this fight card means. I'm telling you, and like you said, they just don't have a headliner who's Mexican. So yeah, it must have been hard to do that. By the way, this is gonna be the first Flores fight we're gonna miss since he kind of came on the. We've gone to two of his fights so far this year.
What Flores' first name? Already blank.
Diego Lopez. Sorry, Diego Lopez.
Sorry. Yeah.
Diego Lopez.
Actually,
we've been to two of his fights.
We saw him in June and we saw him in March. Yeah.
And
same thing with like part of me kind of wants to go. Yeah, Pereira, but it's gonna be in Salt Lake City. I don't want to go to Utah. No offense to you. It's gonna be in Salt Lake City, Utah, which is not that far from Vegas. But I'm like, I don't want to go to Utah during football season. No offense to Utah, but if it was non-football season, I would have been like, hey, we should go.
Well, the problem is that we probably couldn't get a flight out to make it home before all the games start.
Yeah.
The way
Vegas is so easy to get a flight. Yeah.
Like, listen to this. So on Saturday, we fly out of, we both get in at about 8:30. We're going to go have breakfast with our compa, Adam Hill. And then obviously we're going to get ready for the fight and everything. But the next morning we jump out on 6 a.m. flights and we're back ready for Chargers Panthers. Gilbert's gonna do obviously everything that Gilbert does.
I'm gonna be complaining at home, and you're gonna be having back-to-back road trips. You're gonna see your brother's game tomorrow too. So I don't know how you're gonna do it.
Oh yeah, no. On Friday we're going to Brawley, so we're gonna be going out to Brawley, which, like I said, it's far away. Come back, go out there. Well, I'm hoping that we have a little bit of downtime after we hang out with Adam, and then probably take a nap and then get ready to go to
that's the one good thing about boxing, like, because the undercards usually suck, that we could go a little later than UFC.
I haven't taken any of this for granted, to be honest. And like when you open, because I used to watch boxing with my grandpa and all my uncles would come over and you'd watch boxing and stuff, but man, being there for a Canelo fight week, it's been awesome. When he walks by, I'm like, oh shoot, like I'm actually here at a Canelo Alvarez. Like same thing when we have interviewed Dana before and all that. So it's honestly been awesome. I mean, even when we did WrestleMania, awesome as well. But you know what? Speaking of a guy that we will be seeing this weekend, let's bring him on. He is a compa. He jumped on after Chargers and Raiders to give Gilberto crap about him choosing them to win and them to make the playoffs. Our very awesome compa, Adam Hill. Adam, thank you so much for jumping on with us. How are you doing today?
I'm all right, but I might have to reconnect. You hear me at all?
Yeah, we
got you.
Okay, cool. Good.
Where are you if you're able to share?
Where in the world is Adam Hill?
I can tell you, I'm actually at a. Oh, hold on. I just ordered food too, so it's on the way. Thank you so much. I'm actually at a spot called Jason's Deli.
Okay.
Got a plate of vegetables.
At a famous Chinese spot in Tijuana.
Okay. Either that TJ,
got a plate of vegetables.
TJ or Panera Bread. I thought would have been my guess, Adam, but.
No, it's actually better than Panera Bread. It's a spot called Jason's Deli, the salad bar, and I love it because there's a booth. There's a booth in the back, away from everyone. It's got Wi-Fi. It's got an outlet at the booth. I use the same booth like 4 times a week. Great.
Okay.
There you go.
They
I got both carrots and cauliflower. So I'm happy.
Adam, what do you make of UFC 306 this weekend? UFC at the Sphere, Sugar Sean O'Malley against Marab. Just what are your thoughts so far of what that card's going to look like and the Sphere in general?
I mean, I think it's gonna be really cool. I think the venue is the star of the show.
Hyping it up for a while.
Yes, and I talked to him on the phone the other day. He's very excited about it.
What was that phone call like?
It was good. Went smoothly. he's really trying to promote the fact that it's here, and um, excited about it for sure. But I think the venue is the star of the show, right? Like,
Yeah.
I know the fights are going to be decent. I know, Mirab and Sean O'Malley is going to be really good. Actually, Sean O'Malley, an old fight is on right here. By the way, broken headphones are broken on this trip, so that's nice. You can tell one's just hanging off here.
It's cauliflower right there.
It is. Well, here's cauliflower. We're good.
Put it in your ear.
I think the Mirab and O'Malley fight is going to be really good. Obviously, I think Alexa and Valentina have a score to settle. That's going to be a good fight. Like, there's some decent like prospects coming down the card. Like, the fights are good. I don't want to diminish those, but the venue is the star of the show. I don't think there's any question about that. And I think the way that they're going to use it, I mean, they brought in producers and directors from all over Hollywood. They have like so many Emmys, Oscars. They have Video Music Awards, the most prestigious awards of all. All these people that have worked on all these great projects, and they're all coming in to create this like experience, right? It's going to be a movie. They're going to show like part one before the first fight, part two before the second fight. Like, it's going to be a whole narrative that's woven throughout the whole show. I think it's going to be incredible. But also, Dana said last night, like, hey, look, it could suck. Like, we don't know. Like, it could happen and it could not work, and it could look silly and goofy, and maybe it doesn't work.
So maybe Michael Bay will be there, and they'll have explosions and
Spielberg.
Spielberg and all
That's
that.
the plan.
Michael Keaton will show up as Beetlejuice and all that.
M. Night Shyamalan, why not? Just
Pretty
keep
good.
it coming.
Just a real twist. Conor McGregor comes in and fights.
Ooh, that would be awesome.
If it's an M. Night Shyamalan film, it has to be a big twist.
Stanley Kubrick. I'm just naming a bunch of random people. Adam, what do you make of it? This could be all just dumb rumors, but if you have something to say, go ahead. I want to cut you off.
No, I said that I don't know any more directors, so I'm not going to be able to help you anymore.
I'm just doing I've been watching a lot of Halloween movies because Caroline loves movies during this time of year, Halloween movies. So I just watched Shining for the first time in a very long time. So there you go. But to go back to the point is, I don't know how serious this is, because obviously you see a lot of crap on IG or Twitter, and they're saying, oh, ticket sales are struggling for the Sphere, UFC Sphere, they're overpriced. Is that legit? And then I guess maybe kind of another part here, like, is the venue enough to sell this event when the tickets are very, very pricey to get in, and it's very exclusive, very VIP kind of like?
I kind of think it is, but clearly it wasn't, because they did have some trouble selling, and they'll fight back and say, look, every fight that they have, every event that they have, especially in Vegas, sells the last week. Like, that's just how it works with UFC. If it's a Conor McGregor fight at MGM, they sell the most tickets the last week. So they weren't that worried about it from that regard. But if you look at the ticket prices, yes, they were astronomical. I mean, the cheapest tickets was $3,000. It's crazy. So they were going to come down at some point, and secondary market was obviously going to push them down too. It was going to happen, but like, to me, the venue is enough to sell it. Like, I think I told you guys, and I'm not giving away anything crazy in my plans or whatever, but I have to cover the Raiders game this weekend in Baltimore, but I'm staying to cover the Sphere because I do think it's that unique. I do think it's that interesting. I do think it's that important of an event. It's probably the only event that's ever going to be there. I don't foresee another combat sports event trying to go there because it's still cost prohibitive and everything else. So it could potentially be a once in a lifetime experience. Maybe UFC does it at some point if it's a Conor McGregor fight. Maybe they try to pull it off or something, but I don't think they will. So this might be the only time to ever see it. So is the venue enough to sell? Like, if I had that kind of money to actually spend, like, yeah, I probably would. Like, I think it is going to be that cool.
What do you think about Dana White going up against Canelo Alvarez this weekend in Vegas?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty certain that Dana thought that was going to get blocked. Obviously Canelo has had events here before on that weekend. That's kind of his thing. And it was expected that he probably would try to announce it, but I think once Dana announced the Sphere, which was almost a year ago, by the way, I think he thought two things. I think one, he thought Canelo would just say, oh, you guys are doing this instead? Okay, cool, go ahead. I'll either not fight or fight somewhere else. And I think he really thought that MGM was going to block it. Because obviously MGM and the UFC have a long-running partnership. Now, what he didn't really factor in, and I don't know all the machinations back and forth on this, because I haven't seen the actual contracts, but UFC does have an exclusive home in Vegas, and that's T-Mobile Arena. 4 fights a year are supposed to be there as part of the contract. And I think Dana thought that bond was strong enough that MGM would have said, no, Canelo, you're not fighting here. We already, UFC's already doing a show. But Dana didn't maybe consider the fact that, oh, yeah, I'm already breaking that by going somewhere else that's not part of MGM. So maybe MGM wants to get back at me. I think that there was a lot of this back and forth movement. So I think it was maybe a slight miscalculation, Dana thinking that it just wouldn't happen with Canelo. Because, Dana did announce first, let's be honest. Now you can say Canelo always does it, so he was going to announce at some point, but I'm pretty certain the UFC just thought Canelo wouldn't be able to get that date.
Yeah, it's business, right? You can't tell MGM, well, like, you're gonna go make money with the Dolan Group, and we're not just gonna sit back and not make money here. Like, yeah, Canelo said,
exactly.
yeah, I'll come and fight here, and then it's the thing that kind of bothers me as a boxing fan here. I'm gonna be like kind of the traditionalist purist for the sport. It's like this is the holiday for boxing fans, Mexico Independence Weekend. You got a Mexican superstar, which like we don't even know how many more primetime fights that Canelo has. Like this could be one of the last few. Like you're gonna just try to take that away, Dana White, who's doing a love letter for Mexico, but you're trying to take away a tradition that's been around for many decades for boxing. I didn't understand that, and then you kind of deliver a weak card with not that many. I guess I shouldn't say Mexicans, but established household names, and then that's maybe not a fault for UFC because they haven't really, gotten a good amount as they have. But why couldn't you do this in November or in October? Why do you have to be on the holiday that Mexico and boxing have had for decades, going back to Chavez Senior, De La Hoya carrying, and even Mayweather? I'll give him his credit for carrying that tradition there. But and also, yeah, maybe Canelo could have gone to New York and fight Berlanga in New York with Puerto Ricans there to support him, but at the end of the day, like this is kind of Canelo's day, and I'm not gonna say it's his right, but tradition. I'm not surprised that he's doing that, and maybe Dana White might be like, okay, I kind of screwed up right here. Am I off there to give that take?
Well, I'm not Mexican, so I'm rather surprised by that. But I think I do spend more time in Cabo and Cabo and Cancun than you guys do. So I think I
never invite us.
Are you telling me that Mirab and Sean O'Malley are not Mexican and they're not appealing to Mexican fans?
Well, Mirab, what does he call? What does he wear? Like a poncho and the Mexican sombreros every now and then? I guess he wants to call himself. He wants to promote himself like he's Mexican, but he's like Triple G, like Mexican style. He's using that tactic again.
Yeah, I think he's using Duolingo. He's trying to figure out, trying to learn the language. Good for him.
I've seen the TikTok.
But yeah, I think you're right.
Funny though.
It was interesting to me. Just from that perspective of, hey, we're going to do Mexican Independence Day to celebrate Mexican culture and Mexican fighting spirit, but Mexicans on the card, nah.
Yeah, we don't need them.
Well, Diego Lopez lives in Mexico, so maybe that's one. But
that's like Adam going to Cabo all the
there's
time.
Alexa. Yeah, Alexa is Mexican for sure.
Yeah.
And I just sat down with her. I just sat down with her a couple hours ago, and she talked about how proud she was to be a part of this, and to represent the country and all that. But I mean, you're right. I mean, it's not in the main event. You don't have a Mexican fighter, which I thought was pretty interesting when this was announced.
Everybody else, except for Diego Lopez and Brian Ortega, are Mexican or of Mexican. Like it says Mexico on their name. Everybody else. Oh, and obviously O'Malley.
Daniel's Mexican. Yeah, Daniel's Mexican for sure.
Yeah, I know Daniel is. So is Rolando Rodriguez. He's Mexican as well. So it's just those two fights. So two out of the 5 main card fights do not feature a Mexican. Diego Lopez, like I said, he lives in Mexico and he's been learning Spanish and he seems to really be appealing to Mexican fans, but obviously, like I said, not Mexican. But yeah, I just really interesting. And then Oscar De La Hoya is gonna be there. Adam, he said he's gonna be there. That he isn't going to go to that Canelo thing because he knows he's fighting, his words, a bum. So, oh, wow, just a commercial right now for Noche UFC. But what do you make of that, of Oscar De La Hoya going to
That's just Oscar. That's just Oscar hating on Canelo. I mean, that was a very easy decision for Oscar to make. Like, that was always going to happen. It's more funny than anything. Oscar is nothing if not, like, he is petty, and he will embrace the very like over the top, like insignificant but significant action, and this is right up his alley.
I think Dana White gets like one Oscar question per press conference. I feel like Adam.
I think he likes it.
He does. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, you think he does?
Yeah, I think so. Why not? You can go off on whoever he wants to go off on, and explore his enemies. Plus,
More headlines.
It seemed like Dana was on the verge of announcing his boxing promotion the other day. So, maybe that'll happen soon too.
It's been like 4 years in the making, I feel like, or maybe 5 since I've been working at the.
I know, but it sounds.
RJ.
Yeah, but it sounds like the deal is close to being done, and it sounds like his excellency will be involved too. So, I think there is some progress actually being made now.
Do you know if he's like a prince in Saudi Arabia? Why do we call him that? I don't understand this. Maybe I'm just ignorant when it comes to that title for him.
Oh, I do it to be funny. I don't know why.
So do I.
It feels dumb. I don't know. I don't. It's like calling a coach. Hey, a coach Pierce or Coach Harbaugh. Like, talk about this. Yeah,
coach. Hey, coach. I would say coach.
Adam, what did you make of Dana White's Mount Rushmore for UFC fighters this year? What it was?
Let me guess. I actually did hear it. I heard it. I'm just messing with you. I was actually going to guess it right.
Just for the people out there, it's John Jones, Ronda Rousey, George St. Pierre, and Conor McGregor.
Yeah, Conor's silly.
He's made him.
I think it probably should be Anderson Silva over Conor.
Yeah.
Honestly.
So is this like best ever or money makers of UFC?
Well, it said his Mount.
That's the beauty of this game, Gilbert. Yeah, the game, Gilbert. It's not Rushmore. It's whatever you want. You can just name any 4 people you want. And obviously, Ronda was
4, not 5.
Ronda and Conor. Yeah, Ronda and Conor were they were game changers of the sport in terms of business, and that's what Dana cares about. So, I mean, I don't have a huge problem with him putting them on there. Are they the best 4 fighters of all time? Probably not. But their impact is massive. I would say I would put Anderson Silva over Conor, probably. But I get why Ronda's on there. Like, Ronda is not the best fighter of all time. She had a great run. Obviously, she was very dominant. But they never would have been in the UFC without her. And, fighters have told me that. Female fighters have told me that. Like, look, I'm better than Ronda. I know I'm better than Ronda. I would have been better than Ronda, but I would have been fighting nobodies in a bar. Like, I have to credit her for getting me into the UFC, and so I think along those lines, she probably belongs on there. But I think the rest of it's fine. And I honestly think the whole reason he wanted to do this was he's really pushing John Jones so much lately. Obviously, he's hoping that fight happens pretty soon, and he's like, oh, let me do another thing with John Jones at the top of the list, and so he did it. And not that John Jones doesn't belong there; he's obviously
coming back. Do you think he does fight in Brooklyn?
I don't know if it happens then, but I think it's going to happen. It'll happen sooner or later. And then the Conor early 2025 news today, no. Jones fights first. If one of them fights, it's John. Conor is done. I mean, if he announces a fight, it's not going to be maybe, but it won't be against anybody good. It'll be like a ceremonial fight. He'll fight Gilbert.
So you don't think he fights? What's his name? Oh God, what's his name? Chandler.
No, Michael Chandler. He'd get crushed. No, he's not going to do that.
Interesting. Go ahead, Gilbert. Sorry.
He's not fighting anybody. He's not going to fight anybody real.
You know what? I kind of have like a random question, but I don't know. Maybe because it's I don't like random questions. Sorry, it's like boxing UFC week, so I'm gonna kind of take a shot at the UFC. But going off that Mount Rushmore, it feels like we're kind of missing a moneymaker, also / very good fighter. Like Alex Pereira is very good, but I don't know if he's that kind of a moneymaker pay-per-view guy. And then again, I think UFC doesn't really release their numbers when it comes to that. But he's been headlining a lot of fights. No. Are they missing that element there? I think they are.
They're missing putting him in bigger fights?
No, like they're missing that, like Conor McGregor, Ronda Rousey, John Jones. Very, very good, but also makes a lot of money.
For sure they are. But like the business just rolls on. I think they kind of learned that they used to think they have to have that one big superstar all the time, and it was like, you transition like Chuck Liddell to George St. Pierre to Anderson Silva to like as they went along, and they always just needed that one big name. And I think now they're like, oh, we really don't. And I also believe the way that their deal is structured in terms of their pay-per-view buys with ESPN, I don't think it matters anymore. Like, they're going to kind of make their money, and ESPN has to kind of push their pay-per-view side. And again, I don't know all the intricacies of the deal because that's never going to be public, but it seems like it's much less important now to have that one superstar to build like 3 or 4 cards around per year.
I have 2 more questions, and then we'll let you go. We're joined by Adam Hill of the Las Vegas Review Journal. You guys know him. You guys love him. We love him. Huge friend of the show. Dana keeps on talking about combating pirating and people illegally streaming his illegally streaming. Sorry, I don't know why I went with pirating. This isn't those
Pirating.
Yeah, well, yeah, it is. But I was telling Gilbert, and I've been kind of smacking the table on this. UFC will have more views than boxing. There you go. MN is saying that. My question for you is, isn't there a way, like, if they do what WWE does, where WWE Peacock pays WWE, if you have a subscription to Peacock, you have access to WWE. Isn't that maybe a way to, or maybe like Gilbert said, you pay $5.99 a month or $7.99 for ESPN, but then you pay an extra $10 a month to get all the UFC fights? Like, isn't there a better way to do this than just $60? Because they have a lot of UFC events, and it's like, okay, and people aren't gonna pay every single week or every single 2 weeks are gonna pay for a mega, aren't gonna pay that money for cards that you're like, wouldn't you rather get the viewership and have everybody at least legally streaming it and watching it than the other way where people are just illegally watching it? Or am I just over the top?
Yeah, I mean, UFC is definitely going to Netflix.
Oh, wow.
I mean, that's not out. that's definitely what they're going to do.
What's a guess?
Well,
sure.
Are you saying that because WWE already went
they're greasing the wheels a little bit. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, they're almost certainly going to Netflix, unless like if Amazon or somebody comes in and just blows them out of the water, I guess. But
are you saying that because WWE already went to, or is going to Netflix starting in?
They're already and TKO can just do the other half of the deal. Like TKO is owns WWE and UFC.
Yeah.
I think it'll be part of it. I definitely think they're going to go there. But I also think, like I said, the number will be set, and then some other streamers will have the chance to jump in on it and do the deal. Maybe ESPN decides that they want to do it. I think more than the pay-per-views and that sort of thing, like UFC has been a big driver to ESPN Plus, where there's all these cards on there and they have to get it if they want to subscribe. You have to get that if you get ESPN Plus, you want to buy a pay-per-view or if you want to watch a weekly card. So like there is traffic that is driven. There's subscriptions purchased because of UFC, and I think other streamers see that. But I think Netflix saw the first opportunity and is probably a huge favorite to land UFC with the next deal, which is like very soon. And if they don't get it, it could be Amazon Prime, somebody like that, and then the structure will be determined going forward from that. Will it be what I think Netflix accounts now are like $78 a week? Mine keeps going up for some reason. I don't know why.
How much a week?
I'm joking. It's an exaggeration. I'm joking. I did just check my Netflix bill.
I was gonna say, go ahead.
I think my Netflix bill last month was like $34.
What?
Because I have like all these relatives just keep signing on, and they keep charging you more. Like, what is going on?
Shit!
But yeah, I mean, I think
a friend that shares a password. Then you're the guy that gets stuck. We love people like you, but it sucks for you.
Yeah, my dad. I'm like, Dad, what are you get your own Netflix? What are you doing? My mom, what doing? What are we doing here? So yeah, I mean, people keep signing on to my Netflix and it's more, and then I'm like, oh, this is crazy. But yeah, if you say it's $20 a month for Netflix or whatever it is, and then each pay-per-view is another 10 or 20 or whatever, or you just say it's $200 a year to get all of them, $200 extra a year, whatever it is. I mean, I think there's going to be some price structures built in, and they will go to a streamer and they'll try to figure that out going forward.
And my last question is, obviously, and again, we appreciate you jumping on. WWE is headed to Vegas for WrestleMania. How big do you think that's going to be? 1, 2, are you going to be there? And 3, do you feel like the UFC will do something with WWE because it will be in their backyard in Vegas?
As long as my tribal chief is there, I'll be there.
Exactly.
I was like,
yeah, our
ding.
tribal. No. Our tribal chief will be there. You know, he's gonna be there. That's too big time.
Is it left or right? I always forget.
It's always the
You're right.
the
I don't know.
Okay.
or the left one. Yeah,
Don't
the
turn
right.
left. Don't turn
Sorry.
left. What
That's
are you doing?
No, this is my right.
You did left first though.
Yeah. No, I did. I messed it up, but now I'm doing it. But do you think the UFC will do
I
something?
got very into Cody and Roman Reigns, and then when Cody won, I was out. Done. Never again.
The tribal
How's it
chief is
going?
back though. Survivor Series is gonna be huge.
I heard.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
I heard.
He's a
I'm
casual
still
like
out.
me. He's gonna come back in Royal Rumble. He's gonna come back Royal Rumble season.
No, I think he's
I'm
gonna
out.
watch Survivor
I got too
Series.
invested.
He's gonna watch.
I got too
Survivor
invested.
Series.
There's no chance on planet Earth that doofus Cody Rhodes would beat Roman Reigns in a fight. Just wouldn't happen. I'm out. I'm out. Never
Adam,
again.
I cannot wait till they offer Adam the tribal chief to do a story for
He's
wrestling.
I did one.
talked
I
to
did
him
one
about it,
already.
yeah.
I did one already. I did a one-on-one. I did a
Yeah.
story on him. I did a feature.
Yeah, you should ask him off camera about it. It's actually pretty
What?
interesting.
Yeah, I don't think I can say it on camera.
I
Yeah,
need to
you
hang
could.
out more with Adam Hill. But so what? Yeah, the UFC will do something with WWE. What do you think?
Actually, the funnier one was Drew McIntyre. That was
Oh, you got to
hilarious.
interview him too?
Yeah, on the phone. It was great.
Yeah, I bet. All right. We appreciate you, Adam, so much for jumping on with us. You already have me fired up for this. But again, thank you so much, Adam. We will see you on Saturday in Las Vegas. Again, you are awesome. You are the best. And
Broccoli is fantastic.
You know it is. I love it. Tell Gilbert's friend and colleague he says hello.
For sure.
Okay, good to know.
Love that guy.